Carol Burnett made America laugh for 11 unforgettable years. The Carol Burnett Show became a television institution, bringing sketches, music, celebrity guests, and unforgettable characters into millions of homes every week. But behind all those laughs were stories the audience rarely saw: cast conflicts, legal battles, controversial sketches, and one legendary piece of footage CBS refused to broadcast. So what really happened? The story began in 1962, when Carol Burnett signed a 10-year contract with CBS. Hidden inside the deal was an unusual clause: within 5 years, Burnett could demand her own 30-week primetime variety show. At first, she wasn't sure she'd use it. Variety television was considered a man's world, dominated by stars like Jackie Gleason and Dean Martin. But as the 5-year deadline approached, Burnett and her husband, producer Joe Hamilton, were struggling financially. So she pushed the button. CBS executives reportedly tried to steer her toward a sitcom instead, but Burnett insisted on a variety show. Eventually, the network had no choice. The result premiered on September 11, 1967. Burnett assembled an extraordinary cast, including Harvey Korman, Vicki Lawrence, Lyle Waggoner, and eventually Tim Conway. The production was enormous, featuring a live orchestra, dancers, elaborate costumes, and celebrity guests every week. The schedule was brutal. Legendary designer Bob Mackie sometimes created dozens of costumes for a single episode. Across the show's run, his designs became as recognizable as the characters themselves. And despite the pressure, Burnett's gamble paid off. The series ran for 11 seasons and won 25 Primetime Emmy Awards, becoming one of the most celebrated variety shows in television history. But behind the scenes, things weren't always funny. Harvey Korman struggled with anger and frustration. He sometimes lost his temper with Tim Conway and others during stressful rehearsals. Conway eventually made it clear that if Korman ever yelled at him again, he would leave. Burnett stepped in and demanded that Korman change his behavior. Remarkably, he returned the following week with a huge smile, even earning the joking nickname Mr. Happy-Go-Lucky. Lyle Waggoner faced a different problem. After 7 seasons, he felt trapped by his image as the handsome announcer. Producers struggled to see him as a serious dramatic actor, so he eventually left the show. His decision helped lead him to his role on Wonder Woman. There were also censorship battles. One famous example involved a nudist colony sketch. Burnett's character was asked how nudists danced. Her original answer was, "very carefully." CBS considered the line too suggestive and demanded a rewrite. Ironically, the replacement, Cheek to Cheek, was arguably even more suggestive. Then came one of the show's most controversial moments. During a Mama's Family sketch, the cast suddenly abandoned their exaggerated comedy voices and performed the scene with complete seriousness. What had been a funny dysfunctional family routine became an unsettling portrayal of poverty, emotional abuse, and domestic trauma. The audience stopped laughing. The cast and crew were reportedly shaken. Burnett later considered the material too close to painful experiences from her own childhood and kept the footage from regular syndication for years. But the most legendary forbidden footage involved Tim Conway. During a 1977 taping, Conway abandoned the script and launched into an absurd, improvised story about Siamese elephants joined at the trunk. Nobody was prepared for it. Harvey Korman completely broke character. Vicki Lawrence struggled to remain in character. Dick Van Dyke collapsed laughing. Even the camera operators reportedly struggled to keep the footage steady. The entire studio descended into uncontrollable laughter. When Conway finally stopped, Lawrence, still playing Mama, asked if he was finally finished. The cast exploded again. But Conway's improvised routine reportedly included profanity that couldn't be broadcast on 1970s primetime television. CBS removed the offending material from the broadcast, while the uncensored footage was preserved. For decades, the so-called elephant tape became legendary among fans. And despite rumors, the Carol Burnett Show didn't end because of poor ratings. Burnett simply chose to stop. After 11 exhausting seasons, she believed the show had reached its natural ending. She wanted to leave while it was still successful rather than wait until the magic disappeared. The cast went on to remarkable careers. Burnett became an enduring television icon. Corman became a favorite of Mel Brooks. Conway entertained new generations through film, television, and voice work. Lawrence continued as Mama in Mama's Family. And Wagoner eventually built a successful Hollywood trailer business. The Carol Burnett Show didn't just make people laugh. It broke barriers, created unforgettable characters, and captured moments of genuine, unscripted comedy that could never be recreated. And that legendary elephant tape remains one of the clearest examples of why live comedy can be so unpredictable and so unforgettable. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Prestige Buzz, and turn on the bell notification so you never miss our latest stories about Hollywood's most unforgettable stars.